Okay, welcome to After the Buzzer, Exeter and District's attempt at a podcast with players, coaches, referees, and all the greats and not so greats. Not, of course, you Lloyd, from around
Pleasure.
Exeter and District. Um, Welcome today, Lloyd BLACKLER, a player, coach that I'm sure no one needs introducing to. Um, Thank you for joining us on our podcast, Lloyd. Going to have
Pleasure,
a
Carl.
little general discussion about you first, and then obviously some bits about Tigers and your story. Basically, it's sort of your backstop. So I'm sure some of the areas we'll cover will be probably people to be aware of it and a natural progression, but just want to we'll cover it anyway. So,
Yeah,
how
no
did you
worries.
get into basketball then?
Quite a common theme here from the ones I've watched already. Rick and Norm. So I went to Churston. I'd been introduced to basketball by Dave Smoothie when I was at
Right.
primary school. So I was really lucky there. So when I went up to Churston, I could already do a layup. I knew how to shoot reasonably well. So just once we started getting off a proper basketball, I just lapped it up. Any session I could possibly go to, I went to. Loved it. Yeah, Rick and Norm.
So yours was the
Legend.
route via Churston, like
Yeah,
quite a few in your area, and
yeah,
we were very lucky to obviously have Rick and Norm over there, doing their thing and making basketball such a big thing for the Southwest and for Churston especially. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I was very,
remarkable.
very lucky. We got it was when a lot of teachers were striking, and I think Rick and Norm went against that basically to keep offering us basketball. So we were really, really lucky. We just had loads of sessions on. I remember going down to see Raiders with Norm and Rick when they were commissioning.
Right.
So they'd just fill the car up, and any opportunity we got to go and watch more basketball, we'd take it. So saw a lot of the Raiders early doors. Playing in the junior league down in Plymouth as well. So that's where I learned quite a lot about the game actually playing junior league down there, and then playing Plymouth League seniors as well. Started playing seniors quite early, and had to grow up pretty quickly. Playing against some of the guys from Plimpton Canaries, those guys.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
quite.
yeah. Steve
Yeah,
learning curve. Good fun.
we had a few teams that crossed over the borders from Plymouth, and Exeter. So junior wise at Churston, what were your achievements there with Churston? You're going to tell me
Oh,
none now, aren't you? Come on, there's got
too
to be
shy. I'm too shy to talk about it. No, I'll tell you. I'll tell everybody about it. We won the nationals. So we won the under-19 English schools in my final year of school,
right.
um, with a lot of guys that were playing Tigers at the time. We were really lucky. We went all through school. We did everything together. So cricket, football, rugby. We did it all together and went all the way through school. And yeah, and finished off up at Brickett's Wood winning the nationals. So still very, very proud of that. As we're the first team from the southwest to ever do it, and yeah, really proud of that.
Great achievement. Yeah, great for the individuals and for the team, and obviously for Rick and Churston. Um, and Churston and Torbay Tigers especially had a link up with Morley basketball over in Brittany, didn't they? Which has sort of
Yeah,
grown and
I
grown.
haven't been yet.
Haven't
I
you?
must be one of the few Tigers who hasn't actually been. No, because of my work, it's been quite difficult. 25 years in teaching, so taking that time off was a non-starter basically.
Right.
I'm hoping to go at some point. Yeah, I'd love to go over there.
I was going to say because the link up's been quite immense. Seeing the juniors go over, it must be good experience for them as well. I would imagine not just the
Oh,
yeah going away from
it's
home, but the
fantastic. I mean,
competition.
I was listening to Troy's chat with you the other day, and he's talking about the influence of the European game when you can actually access it and play. It's amazing. We were very lucky. Norm used to take us up to Southampton. They used to do an invitational there, and we
Right.
used to play against Spanish, French, an American team came over, Lithuanian. So we got some really good experience at a young age. I think I went to three of those. It was an under 17 or under 18 tournament. So that was brilliant. Yeah. So playing against European team, amazing.
Inspiration as a player, then. Who's your inspiration? What player did you aspire to be?
Oh, I still love watching Larry Bird. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. Those were the guys that were lighting it up. When we used to get a video of it, it used to be on late at night. We used to catch some of it back in the mid 80s, I think. Those guys, and then when Jordan took over, obviously he's still the best for me.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable. But now I love watching Kawhi Leonard. I really like the way he plays. He's a lovely player. He's the
Do,
biggest influence now, I think.
do you watch a lot of NBA then, or
I
Europe?
watch a bit of it when the playoffs are come. I ended up watching the second half of the final game 7 the other night. I
Right.
got up in the middle of the night and watched it. It's nice to see him actually playing defense. That's the bit that puts me off watching the NBA regular season. I just can't be
Yeah.
bothered. It's just, and I have a lot of conversations with the players about this. I say, please stop watching the NBA, watch some European basketball, but it's harder to access, isn't it? So
Yeah.
unless you send them direct links to it, they don't access it as much as they should. So
No.
I keep trying to point them towards the European stuff.
Do you know there's
They
one
don't always.
there's one rule I like, and I think it's the NBA that does it. The 3 second rule for the defense as well in the key. I really like that rule. I think, great. One, because it empties the key, so you don't have, you know, the likes of the team I paid for, obviously, in the local league. You just sit in there and block up the key, don't you? Big blokes can just block it up sometimes. So
Yeah.
actually make it more active. I quite like that one. Um,
Well, I remember having the conversation at an AGM a few years back. We were talking about putting a rule in the league, weren't we? About you have to play at
Man
least
to
two
man.
quarters of man, you have to play 2 quarters of zone. And I remember the other teams were really against it. I was
Yeah,
like,
but you forget that some of those other teams got people like me in it.
we could all run about. You got to keep
Anyway,
running, Carl.
enough about me. So this is all about you. Um, I think this is true, but I better check. A one team man, Torbay Tigers through and through.
Locally, yes. And I wouldn't play for anybody else.
Okay. What other
No.
teams you played for then? So
So going to university in London,
right.
I was lucky enough to get hooked up with Thames Valley,
All right, yeah.
Thames Valley Tigers. So I played Div 2 with them at under 23. They put a development team in. So a lot of the guys from my uni went down to that. Chessington Wildcats in Div 2. I was there when Reading started. So Matty Johnson
Yeah.
at Reading was my roommate at uni.
Ah,
So
he's done a good job,
so we
hasn't
had, oh, it's amazing. He's amazing. He's really helped us as well. I mean, the expansion of the club, which I think Lee would have probably told you all about, which will be coming out soon, won't it?
he? Yeah. Oh, you've frozen.
Friend, but also great mentor. We're really lucky to have him on board. So I played with them when they first started back in '97. Who else did I play for? And then I finished up at Taunton when Rick was there.
Right, yeah.
So that's the highest level I got to play at was Div 1. But unfortunately, it was right at the end of my playing career, which was a shame. But played a fair bit of Div 2 basketball up around the London area.
See, I only started playing at the end of my playing career. That's when I started playing. It
I
is.
remember playing against you, Carl. Big elbows.
Yeah, but I was telling some of the other it's my and I can't remember who I was telling, but it's probably on one of these somewhere and everyone's getting bored of it by now. My one regret was I should have gone to Churston Grammar.
I
So
remember you saying that. Yeah.
yeah, it was my catchment area. I'd obviously got through to grammar, but because my primary school was in Torbay's catchment area, I went to Torquay Boys and having Andy Powsland, who was the same, I think he was a year group younger than me, come over when I went to South Devon College when Kev Dugard, I think it was Kev
Yeah, I
Dugard,
remember Kev. Yeah.
and one of the Pritchards, whatever Pritchard was of the same age as Kev,
Yeah, I
over
can't
to
remember.
South
That's
Devon College.
Martin's brother. I can't remember his name. Yeah,
No,
but I remember I used to watch those boys play. Yeah.
yeah, they came over to South Devon College and basically we formed a team between the three of us, and they were like, "Why aren't you playing?" And then brought Andy Powsland along, and it's like, Christ. But He's doing
Andy,
all right for himself now, isn't he?
tidy. Yeah.
He's
Yeah. Have you heard where he's working now?
he's down at Wrexham now, isn't he?
Wrexham, yeah.
Yeah,
Having been the big guy at Liverpool running the training centre up there, Liverpool Football Club, he's now at Wrexham. So we'll be seeing him on the telly pretty soon, I expect.
yeah. I might try and get him on here actually. See if I can.
Yeah, he'd be good. He's got a massive background in basketball. Yeah, yeah, he's
Yeah,
been all over the shop.
because he went to America, didn't he? After Churston, I think.
Not sure Andy did. Andy's the reason I went to university in London.
Oh right, okay.
He
Maybe
was at
I'm getting
Borough
confused
Road.
then from my memory with Kev Dugard. So,
He
but
got he got me the link into university at London
right.
because of his basketball connection. Yeah, so we went to the same university.
Okay.
But he just finished.
So, which was the best team you've played for then? Which would you say was the best team? And I know you're going to go off and say
Um,
Torbay Tigers, but I'm talking about a year, a team when you were playing for them that,
Performance wise, probably the Thames Valley under 23s when we were playing Div 2, we were really competitive. We had a couple of really good seasons. So that was when I was at university. Yeah, and I was just playing every day, every single day. We'd be going in the gym, shooting, and playing hard against good level basketball players. A lot of the guys at my university were playing BBL at the time, so to get anywhere near the starting five, you had to be playing well.
yeah.
And it took me a long time to get in the starting five, but through through the connections we had, we ended up playing down there, and we had a good team down there. So that's probably the best overall team I played for. And Tigers, obviously.
Obviously, yeah. Tigers as a club. Let's just say that's as a club.
Yeah,
So let's come on to the club then, and I won't go over the stuff that because Lee Potts has been on, so we've got a bit of background which will come out anyway. Um,
yeah,
Tigers, yeah, I remember Tigers from years ago, and they've gone through a little bit of a lull, but they're coming back out the other side now, and there's lots of noise, great things going on at Tigers from what I've seen from the outside. Um, Getting back part of the community game, not talking just about the Brixham community, expanding and obviously got charity status now. And
yeah.
part of this community engagement um, comes down to you, I understand, because you've obviously had your teaching side of it. You're now completely engaged with Torbay Tigers, I understand, but perhaps you could tell us a bit more.
Yes, I've been working full time for the club since September of last year. Having done 25 years in teaching, I got laid off. I was like working at a
Yeah,
primary school as a PE teacher, and the new trust came in. Very sad story. Got laid off, but about a month later, Lee phoned me up and said, "We've got this opportunity. Are you up for it?" And I was like, "Yes, definitely." So I've been going into primary schools all around the bay, just trying to get mostly primary schools, but also secondary schools, and working with Painting Academy and Churston. I've been into St Cup at Maine as well. Just trying to get kids playing, introducing them to the sport, and then showing them the pathways if they want to play more.
right.
Um, we set up a primary schools basketball league. We did try it about 5 years ago, but it was COVID affected.
Yeah,
So that was a shame. But we've got that running again. We've got about 6 schools involved with that. I'm trying to build that.
yeah,
And I'm going to try and develop that even further next year as well, just to get basketball embedded in the curriculum. We're going to be sending Ginny. Ginny's been working with me a lot. Ginny, who coaches our girls and plays for the ladies, works with Spartans as well. We're going to try and keep Ginny going into schools next year and just trying to keep leveling it up, getting as many kids playing as possible. And it seems
yeah.
to be working.
Yeah, I was discussing this with someone else that you don't see basketball within our school's curriculum. It's not part of the the PE section, and I wondered whether you always see the football, the rugby, and to some aspects the cricket.
Mm.
They're a lot to me. They're a lot easier to teach. It's a lot. The rules are probably a lot easier, and the teachers involved, whether that's PE teachers or just ordinary teachers taking PE session, it's a lot easier for them to get to grips with that, than basketball, which is a bit more technical.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, that's part of the job as well. I've been doing is trying to get the teachers, showing them that you can teach basketball without having hoops.
Hmm.
Sometimes we utilise the netball hoops, but play a passing game where you end up having a shot at the target. Just variety of games so they get used to handling the ball, good habits. I remember being taught by Rick and Norm as an 11-year-old. Every time you catch it, pivot, face the way you're shooting. If somebody's open, give them the ball, and that's never changed.
No.
Yeah, so just teaching them all the fundamentals. They love it. They love basketball. Kids love basketball, and the more we get playing, the better.
Yeah, I mean, we are, according to the figures, and I still don't know where they get the figures, the second most played sport in the UK. As I said, I don't know where they get those figures from. I really don't. I struggle, if I'm honest, just looking at it as an insider, let alone as an outsider, to think,
I remember you talking about the access to facilities, and that's something we're in trouble with. Lee's probably spoken to you about that already. Um, yeah, more facilities would be good. Always the case, isn't it?
yeah, and unfortunately, basketball's an expensive sport, isn't it? Because you need the sports hall, which puts the cost up straight away.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it is. Lee was talking about the number of kids you got from the community coming through the Torbay Tigers side of it. Um, and that's without obviously the input you're having to the primary school kids playing and other schools. And as I've always said, and dear old dear old Roy Parslow used to say, bigger the base of the pyramid, the higher that pyramid is. And
yeah, yeah,
it's I had this conversation with BE only yesterday, funny enough, because they were trying to get us involved again, and I had a very, honest and frank discussion with them about what do they offer. Um,
yeah, yeah,
and if they did their job correctly, we wouldn't have a local league because the local league would be a regional side of it and just
yeah,
be
yeah. Fair point.
an,
Yeah,
an inflow to the next level, so to speak, of basketball. But
yeah.
it is a strange kettle of fish. But there we go. Um, I always like to ask this embarrassing moment in basketball. I like to chuck these in to go, and I'm going to say it.
Embarrassing moment.
Hang on, before you carry on, I'm going to say this on air because Darren Bolt didn't tell me this on air, and apparently some of the people that were listening couldn't believe his embarrassing moment was when he was rugby tackled by Foxy down at Raiders. So you've heard it
I
here,
heard
all
that.
right? Darren didn't disclose it, but someone else has disclosed it. So I'm telling you now, that's got to be his embarrassing moment.
That's a good one. That's good. I really don't know. Oh, I do know. I do know. I was playing for Chessington. I was against Westminster Warriors. It was busy. It was a busy place to play. Let's put it that way. I was the first man back on D, 3-on-1. I took my position, defensive position, a good defensive position, but the guy dunked on me so hard, and I had to do a walk of shame down the other end because I think they called an offensive foul. The crowd were losing their minds. And I think I ended up getting some foul shots. I mean, you shouldn't get foul shots, should you, if you've been dunked on?
Yeah,
But I
no.
remember just getting up and going, "Oh my god, I've been dunked on really badly here." But I was in the right position, so let's look on the positives.
Well, obviously, you were to gain the foul. So, how would if money was no object, how would you improve basketball in the Bay? What would be your main things to do?
Hoops everywhere. I'd love more outdoor hoops. There's a little facility down at Preston that a lot of our kids use. It's all right, but it's tiny.
Yeah.
Lee ends up putting the chain nets up, 3 times a year just so they got proper nets. If we could put more hoops everywhere and put hoops in all the schools, I've tried to get grants for this, but with no joy. I think if we get hoops in schools and get it embedded in the curriculum, we'd get loads more kids playing, and the standard would go up, and that would feed into the club, and just makes basketball better for everybody. I think if they got access to hoops, so that's probably what I do.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bugbear of mine that the Southwest I think gets forgotten. You see all the painted courts coming up all around the country and all the money going in. And I tried it down at Upton. And Toby will probably tell you we tried to get something going down there to get that court painted when they did the netball one next to it.
Yeah,
It got caught up in wrangles with Torbay Council. We had a really good offer of sponsorship if we would put their name, painted on it, etc. Wasn't abusive name, was it? Just a normal, business. And I think Torbay Council come back in the end and said, well, you can, but you need to pay for advertising each year to have a license for it. And it's renewable year ago each year, and we can't guarantee it the following year. And you're thinking, there's a lot of craziness. I don't know what it is. There's a lot of craziness around that. We want to get people playing. We want to get people more, active, and yet there are opportunities out there to, you said you struggle with sponsorship and, getting, or not necessarily sponsorship, but getting funds for it. It is very difficult, but I really think the councils need to get together with local organisations and
Yeah, yeah. I
promote it
think
a bit more.
Lee had the conversation with the guys at Torbay a year and a half ago or so, I think it was. And he said they were amazed when he said, well, that sports, so I'm not going to name names,
No,
but he said, oh, that sports would be good, but they've only got one hoop. And some of the guys from Torbay Council, oh, is that right? We've only got, yeah. You go to that one, it's hanging off. The money isn't being put back into that and regenerating. It's one of those things, isn't it? Money, it's always about the money, isn't it?
it is, but the area of Upton, so where Upton Courts are in Torquay there, where
Yeah,
Toby does something. It's one of the most deprived areas in Britain. And you're thinking,
yeah,
you know, I'm not trying to push things, but you get all the money invested in inner city areas because they're deprived, yet we've got something on the doorstep and you can't get the motivation to actually someone get off their ass
yeah.
and do something, and it's all individual voices which don't help. But I'd love to see some outdoor courts. I'd love to see some outdoor free on free. I think it's. Have you done free on free? Have you played free on free?
I have in the past, yeah. Yeah, there's
It,
bits of it I don't like. I'm a bit old fashioned, but
is that right? Because I find it, I like the traditional, but I also find free on free very fascinating and very entertaining. It's I suppose it's trying to take the best bits, isn't it, and just concertina them into a little thing. But
yeah, I mean, it's got
um,
its place, hasn't it? But there's things like the dribble out.
yeah,
It's always which appears to me to be a head down dribble out rather than pivot kick, get it back if you're open, which is
yeah,
how I
I, s-
coach kids to play.
yeah. I suppose it can fester bad habits. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, you just run it.
I sound like a right old fuddy duddy there, don't I?
You're not old at all, Christ. You're sitting looking at me.
We
So
got I got the grey hair. You
yeah,
got the grey
well, I
beard.
haven't. I've got the grey beard. All right. So going forward, then, what's going forward for you? Where are we going through from here? Where are we going to?
So new opportunities. I've been offered a post at Churston, which is a dream role for me, really.
Right.
They want me to come in and develop basketball throughout the school, to try and take it back to the level that Rick and Norm had, which is obviously a massive challenge. But I have been working with them this year. We've been getting some good stuff happening, lots of participation. So they want to now take that participation to performance, um, which is really, really exciting. So I'm going back into the classroom, doing some PE and games, but obviously loads and loads of extracurricular with them. Get the leagues, get the central venue leagues for the juniors, carry that going,
Yeah.
get the senior school central venue leagues happening again because there hasn't been anything like that for a long time. And then doing a bit of tiger stuff as well, but not so much front of house tigers. Whereas I've been out in the community this year, I'll be a bit more in the background. So that's yeah. So I've got an exciting time ahead. Really
So
looking forward to it.
is that going full time with Churston then, or part
It's
time there
part time with Churston
and part
and
time
then
with
part time
Tigers?
with Tigers still. Yeah, so I'll probably be based at Churston. Yeah, running loads of stuff out of there.
But yeah, that's good because you've got the foundations there for what's gone on in the community, and you know, I'm sure there's other people that can jump in and, like you say, you've got people helping you now, haven't you? So, um,
Yeah, yeah. We'll hopefully get Toby and Ginny out in the community. Toby's I don't know if Lee told you about it. When did you speak to Lee? A couple of weeks ago?
Couple of
Yeah,
weeks ago, yeah.
probably. Yeah, so we were just started up another community project, getting it out. Just 5 weeks, come and play, slightly reduced cost, trying to get as many people playing as possible, and they filled up in about a day at
Right.
junior level. I think we've got about 18 kids playing at under 14 level with that. Not so many new players in the older age groups, so that's something we're still looking at. Always looking at getting more women playing.
Yeah.
So that's been a massive plus. I'm guessing Lee talked to you about that. But getting our girls, the dream is to get as many girls teams as we've got boys teams.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's
I
the
did
challenge
touch
is
on that
matching
with
up.
with Lee, as I said, absolutely fantastic that Tigers have ventured into the girls' side now, and you got the ladies team running and the quite a few junior players around.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Really,
And
really
and it's
exciting.
only by doing it you're going to get more and more.
That's it.
That they'll get involved. It's one of those it's the chicken and egg thing, isn't it? If you don't have something running for them, the
Yeah,
people lose interest and drift off somewhere else. And but
yeah,
no,
definitely. Yeah,
that's a great development, and because probably far too long Tigers haven't had the female side of it. It's been solely the male side.
yeah, yeah. It's long overdue, and we're very lucky. We've got Ginny Colgate working with us, who's a massive, massive advocate for girls and women's basketball, and she's really pushing it hard. So we're really lucky we got Ginny working with us. And you
Yeah,
know Ginny through refereeing. A
I
lot
was
of
to
people
say
have been
she's
refereed by Ginny.
one of our
Yeah,
female referees from this year, which is great.
yeah.
Yeah, we've had a lot.
She's been an amazing addition.
Yeah, I think I was saying, said to someone else, I think of the 20 new officials we had this year, probably 50% were female, which
Yeah, good.
is brilliant. Can't say enough, and hopefully they stay around. So
Yeah,
it's looking rosy for you then going forward, and for Tigers.
I think so. Yeah, like, I mean the club's in the best position I've ever seen it. I mean the amount of 16 squads. I think we've got three. I think we've got three teams that entered into National League competition next year. Looking at adding more girls teams to the setup. It's brilliant. It's really exciting. It seems like it's non-stop. We've just released all the squads and the session details out to parents and players for September now. So we're trying to get ahead of ourselves and hopefully feed some more players into those squads that we've already set up. So yeah, it's really exciting times for Tigers, definitely.
I think I'm right in saying you've actually got three men's teams now as well.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Really excited. Yeah,
With a
yeah,
development side going in, so that's good and
yeah,
good for the league. Yeah, there are. That came from a conversation between myself, Lee, and obviously Torbay Tigers, of the opportunity there, or the fact that we've got these players that aren't quite ready for Division Two yet. What can we do with them? And actually, when I've bandied it around to the other clubs, it's like, well, yeah, we could probably get six teams together for this, and put on a central
yeah.
venue league, and it's great for them, and great because we
Brilliant.
could also utilize it, and I want to utilize it for bringing on the referees. So
Yes.
if we get a central venue, 3 games in a row, I can get 6, 8 referees there and
Yeah.
sort that out, and with mentoring and everything in one go. So
Yeah. Brilliant. Great opportunity for him. We got loads. I think we got about 24 players signed up for the men's
yeah,
three. Yeah. They just keep coming out of the woodwork. The more, I suppose, the more you're visual, the more stuff we put on Facebook and all the socials, the website, and the more it keeps coming back, and we find all these players. Like, well, we didn't know you were here. And they go, well, we didn't know you were here. So
it it's strange, isn't it? And yet, we get lots of inquiries. We and really pleased that Torbay Tigers almost said, "Yeah, come on in, keep coming, keep coming."
mm,
Whereas in the past, it's always been not from Torbay Tigers so much, but there's always that limit, isn't there? Where every club's got that limit where they've had to say, "Well, I'm sorry, we can only take this many,"
yeah,
and we're very good at dealing with what I would call the elite, the better players. It's I suppose, our local league players of the future that we lose. The in-betweeners that don't quite hit that mark, and then they drift off.
That's right. Yeah.
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 Um, Lloyd, we haven't got long left, so I'm just going to chuck this over to you. Is there anything else you want to tell me about your career to date, where you're going, Torbay Tigers? The floor is yours, so to speak.
I don't know really. It- just about how good basketball's been for me, really, over the years. But I think back, I've been playing a long time, and I tried to stop playing at one point, but just couldn't because I think it was the camaraderie. I love the fact that I have a night every week where I still go and just have a run around and play. I still love competing. I think the way I look at basketball's changed a lot over the years, and I'm guessing that's a lot of that's to do with age, but a lot of it's got to do with meeting more people from around the country. I could talk about Matt Johnson and the input he's having into our club. Sort of taking a different viewpoint about what it's about now.
Right. Yeah,
I used to have it's about winning, and I think that came from me as a player. But as I've got more into coaching, I'm realizing it's about giving kids opportunity, and I'm really big on that. Like if they're there, they're playing. Yeah, it doesn't matter what the game situation is. We're going to get you game time because they don't learn unless they're put into those situations. We entered our under 14s international league last year, and it was really hard. We were having a tough old time, but the level of progression that we're seeing from these kids because they're experiencing that is phenomenal. So I'm a big believer in that. Give the kids the opportunity, let them show what they can do,
yeah.
and hopefully they'll carry on playing basketball for as long as you've been involved, I've been involved. I mean, we keep talking about it gets here, doesn't it?
It
You know,
does. You mentioned Dave Smoothy introducing you to basketball. What was he, 50 plus years in, the local league. And you look around and there's lots of people that are quite easily going to hit those 50 plus years involved in,
yeah, yeah,
basketball in the community. And it is strange. And yeah, you're probably right. The camaraderie and some things change, but actually there's still people there and, doing these podcasts, if you like. I've had quite a few people come back afterwards, didn't want to do it at the time. It's like, oh, this is great. I want to get involved again. What can we do? How can we do it? And, perhaps we could put three coaches together and have a little chat. And,
yeah, that'd be
um,
good.
yeah, we're looking at chucking one around where you can discuss, referees calls, etc. So, I've got this scenario. So we quite often have it on our local WhatsApp group. This has happened. What would you call? And, lots of people interact with it. And it's
Yeah,
like, well, let's
yeah,
have some questions and chuck it forward and
yeah.
see.
It's good. It's
And
good. I want to say a big thank you to you, Carl, as well for the stuff you do for the league. It's a
it's
really good
fun.
league.
It's
Yeah,
fun. It's fun. I enjoy.
but
Don't tell my wife. All right. It's fun.
but you lead it really well. You give lots of people opportunity, and like the organisation, the refs, and all the table officials, and everything that goes with it is really appreciated.
It's
So I just want to say
thank
thank
you.
you to you on behalf
It
of the club.
it is a lot of work. I'm not on my own. There's other people involved, and obviously you've got all the individuals that lead clubs, and like yourself and players, coaches, team managers, stuff like that. So everyone plays their part. But I do think we've got a good league in the Southwest in Exeter and District. And
It's a really good league.
there's lots
Really
of
good.
developments coming as well. So I don't know if you know, but we're having an invitational Southwest Cup competition, which has got
Okay.
um, two teams from Cornwall, two teams from Plymouth, two teams from Exeter and District, two teams from Webber, two teams from Dorset, and two teams from Somerset. East and a West thing. So
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
don't meet a team. So the West will have a team from Cornwall, team from Plymouth, and team from Exeter in a group. Two of those groups. So you won't meet a team from your own group in the group stage, if you like, from your own league.
Right.
And then top of A plays second in B, home and away. And then the semi-finals and finals will be basically Exeter at a central venue.
Nice.
And we've got a lot of take up for that from around the area. They're going, actually, yeah, this will be really good. And it's to give that
Yeah,
different competition
interesting.
to the senior players as well. Because lots of things. So lots of the junior is taken up. Yeah, we've got central venue for junior leagues, etc. So we did try and venture there before, but I don't want to tread on toes. They've got something that works. Leave that. And the only bit we are going to venture into is the under 18s because again, there was a little bit of a gap there. So we're looking at the under 18s junior league for this coming season. But yeah,
Brilliant.
but we can only do it with referees, coaches, and people like yourself. So thank you as well. But don't laugh about it. See, you're as embarrassed as I am when you say it. All right. So
It's something we do, isn't it? Because we're passionate about it.
yeah.
But yeah,
But thank you for your time, Lloyd. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. All right. Keep going with Tigers. Keep going with the career. I'm glad everything's going well, and it's brilliant to see you involved, getting more kids playing and more people in the community playing. All right. It's absolutely brilliant job you're doing.
brilliant. Thank you very much,
All right.
Carl. Thanks for
Cheers,
having me.
Lloyd. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.